Hey guys, what's up? This is part 5. I am very excited for this part just because I get to use some Blender and I haven't been doing Blender lately. If you've been following my channel, I have put out 2 Blender videos, so that's a lie, but I've been working on a different game and I've been in a code writing crunch, which is, it is what it is. On a new game, you gotta start coding a lot. But let's get started. We're gonna update our models, all of them. Our tanks, we're gonna make them look a little better and see how far we get there. So let's go ahead and open up Blender. I just put a stick of gum in, and I realized this is a bad idea because I am salivating. But we're gonna go with it. So we're just gonna add a default cube in here. Enable limits, go to the side view, and we're just gonna cut this in half using Control R. Extend it out. And yeah. And then we're just gonna scale it along the Z axis and move it along the Y. And we're just gonna get, this is pretty much the side of the tank wheels, I guess. I'm not fully sure what the correct wording is, but just go ahead, throw a mirror modifier in there, enable clipping, and go along the Y-axis. So there we go. Let's just go ahead and move this over 2, maybe over 1 more. There we go. And let's just add an array modifier and do -2. Let's see. We'll do -2 and then move it all back over -1. So there we go. So we have our tank tracks. Pretty just blocked out, kind of getting that basic shape. So let's just go ahead and add another cube in here. Let's move it up. Move it up 2. And then let's go into edit mode. Go to top view and kind of just start playing around, seeing how we want this to look. I'm just using the box tool and kind of moving it out. I'm just gonna split this in half, add an array or a mirror modifier, enable clipping, and then we only have to do everything once. So that'll be nice. Let's just go ahead and extrude this out, and let's just drag this corner in, get some basic shaping. This is gonna be the front over here, so it's gonna come to it's gonna go to a tip, but less on the back. So the back's gonna be more rounded, and the front's gonna be more of a tip, if that makes any sense. So it's gonna be more looking like that. And let's just get some 3D profiling this. So I said it's just not a block. Just play with it, see what you like. Let's have the back lowered a little bit. So yeah, it's good enough for right now. Next, let's have clipping enabled, right? There we go. I saw a groove right there. Alright, let's go ahead and save this real quick before we lose it. Unity, go to your project folder, and then go to your files and save it as tank. Next, just let's click right where the nozzle of the gun will be, and then up here in 3D cursor, zero out the X. Go ahead and add a circle. Bring the vertice count down to 8. Rotate it 90 degrees. Scale it down. We're going to go ahead hit Z. Oops. Z, go in wireframe. And let's just extrude this out along the y-axis. And let's see how that is way too long. That's looking pretty good right there. We will just leave it as that right now. We will come back to that. Let's focus on the tracks a little more. Let's get a little more in depth. Um, let's go ahead and delete these faces. And before we do that, let's cut it in half again. I think, yep. All right. So delete all these vertices and add an X mirror as well. Okay, let's go back in here and let's select this ring by hitting Alt and then E to extrude and then scale it in a little bit, and then E to extrude and then move it along the X-axis, and then we'll just go in here and face it out again. So there we go. Now it looks like we got some indents on our track, looking a little better. Next, tracks, they normally have kind of not spikes, but grips type of tracks. So let's throw some edge loops in here. Let's see if that's enough. Move this one over closer. Oops, delete these edge loops. Alright, we got one track here, or one, two, gap, so just making sure it's spaced nicely. There. Alright, so this one. Alright, so 3. And then go in here, select all these faces. And then we are going to E and then extrude out along the Z-axis to begin with. As you can see, these faces didn't really come out to what we wanted. So we'll just go ahead and move them manually. No big deal. There we go. So now we have tracks on our tank. So let's just go ahead and hit Alt hide and bring everything back in. As you can see, we're going to have to bring these up. Also, when you look at a tank, there's not this space right here. So either you can put another box in there, or we can just go ahead and we'll just... What's the easiest way to do this? We'll go ahead and add another box in here. Why not? Scale along the X a little bit, move it up. And then place it in the middle. And as you can see, we are still in face mode, so let's just go back into vertice mode. Alright, there we go. So we have our little tank. You can do a little more detail if you desire. I'm going to add some stuff to this. I'm going to add an edge loop here and 2 edge loops here. I'm going to go ahead and select these 2 faces, delete these faces, and I'm going to exit, apply our mirror so we have this ring right here. I'm going to extrude it, scale it in, and then hit W, loop tool circle, move it up a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and extrude this up, and then go ahead and extrude it and merge in the center. And that didn't really come out to how I wanted it to be. Oh, I did something wrong. There is a plane right here. Delete that. delete that. Alright. Okay, so it seems like I just did that entire last 10-minute section without sound. Sorry. um, I hope you guys were kind of following what I was doing. Hope I didn't lose too many of you guys. Hopefully, maybe most people just click to the end and see the final product. So, um, I was just going back between Photoshop and Blender, doing some basic texturing, getting a handrail in here, a logo. You can put whatever logo you want. I was just doing CC, it's my initials, and whatnot. And right now I'm just going back in Photoshop and I saved it as blue diffuse. And I'm just going to create my other diffuse right now by just going like that. And I can just go ahead and save that. It looks like there's a blue speck or some red specks over here. I'm not going to worry about it right now. We might have to deal with it in a bit. So let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to end this tutorial. So this is part 4, I believe it was, on making a tank and diffusing it. So stay tuned. Part 5 is next.